Public facilities and spaces in Richmond seem to be physically accessible, but are in fact emotionally inaccessible to the youth in Richmond. We wanted to know if the youth felt this way, so we spoke to them to get their inside story.
When I was a kid, I remember not being afraid of Richmond. I would play soccer with my friends from day to night, until one day we heard gunshots. Ever since then, me and my friends have been too scared to play outside in Richmond. And in order for us to have fun and play, we have to drive to a different city.
I really don't feel positive about doing physical activities in Richmond, only because all the negativity going on. A lot of people outside aren't really doing anything to better themselves, and many people, including myself, feel harassed. So majority of the time, my outside activities are limited.
I have lived in Richmond for most of my life, and I can most definitely say that I have never been downright afraid of being out and about in my city. But I do admit that there has always been a certain feeling of apprehension, like the street you didn't walk down or that park that you would never go to alone. But I never really thought much of it until an ex-classmate of mine and some other local kids tried to rob my friends and I. Ever since that day, I haven't really felt as comfortable being out and about doing physical activities in my local parks. And it's really sad because I feel a lot of youth here in Richmond have that exact same feeling of apprehension. Though it could really happen to anybody, you're much more likely to get robbed or beat up if you're playing outside,
We wanted to know if adults from other communities had similar experiences to those that the youth had, so we spoke to some adults, and this is what they had to say.
I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and it was an incredibly sweet place to grow up. You went outside, you played, there were tons of kids, and it was safe. There were all these little parks, and you would just go out and you'd find other kids to play with. Nobody worried. Nobody disappeared, and I think those times are gone, aren't they?
It's the fact that you're outdoors and you go out, climb trees, run through the meadow, and I was so worry free. You didn't have a care in the world, didn't have any responsibilities, and just going outside and doing whatever you wanted, and we didn't have to worry about someone coming along and snatch us off the street. But we were outside and it was carefree.
The youth in Richmond and adults from other communities didn't seem to have similar experiences. The adults felt free and safe, whereas the youth in Richmond feel too scared and unsafe to be outside. It's not about the youth not engaging in physical activity. It's a matter of public safety that deserves immediate attention.